No electronics in this video, it's an odd tangent. Let's take a look inside Dolce Gusto coffee cartridges. So these are the pods that you put into the coffee machines, and when you activate them, it basically, a spike goes down through this outer plastic film and it injects water in, and then the coffee comes out the bottom here. But what's inside them is quite complex. So let's zoom down a bit so we can get a closer look at this, and I shall open one. I shall get a little tub to put the coffee in. It's worth mentioning, this holds roughly 5 grams of coffee. Incidentally, this also holds roughly 5 grams of coffee. That seems the standardized quantity for these coffee capsules. So if I open it like this, inside we can see a plastic film above the coffee. And if I then cut that plastic film away and tip the coffee out, there is a layer of metal foil down there. And what actually happens is that when the unit is used and the water is injected in, the pressure builds up, it pushes that foil down, and underneath that foil is a series of spikes. Let's see if I can get this out. I might have to push it out from the back. I shall push it out from the back, destroying it in the process, most likely, but that's all right. It's fine. It's name of science. Oh, that is not coming out very easily. Let me just try and cut it to encourage it to liberate. There it is. Interestingly, it has the black version of the disc. It's very different. Okay, so I'll show you a different version of this. This one, you can see it's got lots of little pyramids sticking up. And what actually happens is when the pressure pushes the foil down, it punctures the foil, and then the coffee effectively flows through holes in this. This is different to the other cartridge I looked at. That is interesting. And then once it goes through, there's this sort of matrix of holes here. Let me show you the other one that I took a picture of. Hold on. I shall just grab that. Coffee everywhere. Here it is. I shall zoom out a little bit. I shall focus down onto there. So in the other cartridge I took apart, there was this little plastic disc. And on that disc, there was these spikes sticking up. And I thought, unlike this one, which has little holes through it, it's only got about 8, 9, 10, 11, it's got 12 holes through it. But this one doesn't have the holes through it. And when the foil is pushed down, it sits in these flat surfaces, and the liquid actually spreads sideways, goes over the edge here, and then goes underneath. And when it goes underneath, it then has to go through a matrix like this to find its way out. I should actually put that up the other way. It would make more sense. So it comes over the edge and then finds its way through this sort of matrix, and then it drops out through the unit, out the little spout. And I think the reason for that is basically to ensure all the things are mixed, because these aren't just used for coffee. These are also used for pre-creamed drinks and drinking chocolate and stuff like that. I shall put that out the way. Now you have seen what it looks like. I shall bring in a focus aid just so the camera knows where to look. Because otherwise it will be focus your fark, as Ave often says. But let's take a look in these other cartridges then, because that was the coffee. So in summary for the coffee one, with the ground coffee, it has that sort of plastic film, perforated plastic film. The water is injected through by a spike that goes through the outer plastic layer, goes through that film, goes through the coffee, and then finds, once it's pierced the foil, which breaks the seal, it then finds its way through this and drips out the bottom of the unit. Let's take a look at a Cafe au lait cartridge. This is coffee with milk. Coffee with milk. And when you open these ones, inside you see it's actually just filled with basically dried milk, creamer, and ground coffee. And not ground coffee, it's basically instant coffee. I don't think there's sweetener in that. Hold on, wait till I taste it. No sweetener. So that is basically just the contents of one of these packets, basically. These little sachets you get of the drink. And this time when the water's pushed through, it once again, you can see the foil at the bottom, it presses down that and it pierces the foil, And once again, it's got that little plastic disc in it. Let me see if I can push this one out more successfully than last time. They don't come out easily, do they? Here's the foil. There's the disc. Let's push it out. And it is just basically sitting into a little cup there that forces the, and I'm guessing that this is where the advantage of this convoluted route comes, that, you know, by going through all those different channels, it means that by the time it finally comes out, you're not going to have lumps or anything like that. It is, even if there's a sticky lump bit, that with the water flowing past it trying to get out, it will probably dissolve those. Okay, so I'm guessing flat white is more or less the same. Let's just open them all. Flat white is more or less the same. What about Chocochino, which is a 2-cartridge system, extra, super expensive. This one is probably the drinking chocolate. Hold on, let me taste this. Sugar and cocoa. So that's the same, right? And what about the creamer for this one, which puts out the creamy white milkiness? Is that just creamer? Or is it sweetener as well? Slightly sweet, but it's mainly just tastes like the standard, you know, coffee creamer. So that's what's in these. I'll let you decide yourself if they're good value. They're not good value. They're really, it's a very expensive way of making drinks, but I guess you get the pleasure of the machine actually making it for you. And also, because it's putting the liquid in under pressure, it does aerate the drink and makes it kind of frothy, which is quite good. But then again, so does this. This is a sort of frothing agent in it, but this is done purely by the pressure of the machine pushing the steam through. These ones, the easiest to refill appear to be these little Nespresso type cartridges. All that's in the Nespresso cartridge is, it's basically the foil and it's the coffee. And then there's a foil at the back that the spikes, when they come down, just pierce through it and they inject the water through that. And you do get the refillable pods for those that can be as simple as this one, which is a little plastic one with a lid with the gauze in it. And you just basically put coffee in, tamp it down, level it off, and then you just close it and that's your cartridge. But they're interesting things. They do work. Just, I guess they're just a sort of luxury item. It's just the niceness of something making you a drink automatically as opposed to actually preparing it yourself. But that is it. That is what's inside these cartridges. Well, it isn't now. It's not inside the cartridges anymore. But now you know basically what's in these cartridges. It's that strange system of this convoluted path with the foil seal being punctured and then the water being forced past the powder until it's all mixed up. I've only had one explode in the machine. That was, just went everywhere for some inexplicable reason. I don't recommend trying to refill these. It doesn't work that well. It goes everywhere. I've tried it. It wasn't a success. These ones, though, were a perfect success. So there we go. That's the coffee pod exploration.